You want to know one of my biggest pet peeves as being a Reiki practitioner? It's when people ask me, like, what is it? What does it do for you? Hey, this is Tracy with Tracy Talks. Welcome. I am someone who believes that there are many different ways to live a healthy lifestyle. I believe in energy work, in meditation, in taking time to develop and practice a routine that supports my health and well-being. And as a practitioner, when someone approaches me with this, well, what is Reiki? Tell me about it. This is one of my biggest pet peeves because oftentimes people will approach me in this way when they don't believe and they expect me to provide evidence that it's going to work. Like they're skeptical and they just want me to reassure them. I can't do that. I cannot guarantee it's going to work for you. Because when someone approaches me with that level of skepticism, it tells me they're not open. They are not open to the energy. They're not open to the possibility. And it most likely isn't going to have any effect on them. And it's interesting because I seem to get these type of questions from people I know, from people who see me on a daily basis and expect me to prove to them that what I believe in is true and works. And you may sense some anger and tension and distressed feelings in my voice that I have personally experienced this on many different levels. I was married to someone who was a non-believer, and we spent several years of our marriage, and he would just say, if you could just give me a book and show me what you mean or show me why you believe the things that you do. If you could just give me a book. I can't do that. You have to want to see something. You have to want to see possibilities. You have to want to open yourself up to the fact that you don't know everything. You have to open yourself up to the possibility that someone else may know something that you don't know. I don't have a book that can explain that. And then, as this relationship deteriorated, then he was convinced that I was crazy because of Reiki, because of energy work, because of meditation. So when I have friends who are skeptical and approach me for proof, like, tell me about this. No. I mean, it's 2026, people. Google. Find AI. Go to a library. Expand your knowledge without coming to a practitioner and saying, can you prove to me that this works? I'm not here to convince you that I believe that there's alternative ways of managing your well-being. I'm not here to convince you of that. And I'm going to bring this back around. You know your own answers. If you are a non-believer, that's fine. I am not throwing my beliefs, like when I get together with friends, I do not sit down and say, have you tried Reiki? Have you tried meditation. Like, I really believe in this. I feel like you should get certified. I feel like you should really educate yourself on Reiki. I don't do that. Now, in a professional setting, when I am somewhere and I am acting on behalf of Reiki, of course, I'm going to promote it. Of course, I'm going to talk about how I believe in it. But typically, those are already in settings where people do believe. They have had positive experiences. They have experienced the changes in their life, in their well being, and how they feel. That they had already made up their mind that this was something that was very useful for them. And they sought out a practice. Because again, our health and well being isn't a one and done. We get more benefits when we develop a practice, a regular, dedicated practice. And if you are trying to seek proof that something is for you, then I would say that it's not. It's not for you. And it's not my role to convince you that it is your truth, that it is your path. And again, that just tells me that you're not open, that you wouldn't be open to the benefits. You probably wouldn't be open during the session. And as an energy worker, as a practitioner, I know people get afraid when they think that somebody can get into your energy. And I think there's a fear sometimes that somebody can override your free will. And I can't. Like, I am an ethical practitioner. I am not trying to be deceptive. I am not trying to override your free will. I am not trying to do anything that you and your higher self do not want to happen. And if you come into a Reiki session and your chakras are closed and your energy is closed to me, I cannot break through that barrier. As being an energetic practitioner, I have people approach me from time to time, and they approach me with this sense of curiosity. Like, what is Reiki? What is energy work? What does it do? What is happening? And when I was first certified back in 2012, I would meet these moments with optimism. Like, this is what it is. This is what it can do. These are the things that you can feel. These are the things that it can help you with and improve. And I was more eager to respond, to try to educate people who had never been exposed to energy work, who had never even heard of anything like that. And like I said, I had been married to somebody who approached my learning with that same level of curiosity. And then I can only speculate at a certain point, he reached an internal conflict. Like, I was telling him information that was conflicting to his, what I can only assume was religious training. And I've seen this from other people that when I talk about Reiki, there's oftentimes additional questions about, well, is this impacting my religion, and how does that fit into religion and God? And I can see the wheels turning and the internal struggle begin. And it's been my experience that when people can't and don't know how or don't want to resolve that internal conflict that they have, that Reiki and religion, they don't fit in the same box, and people don't know how to hold space for both, that internal conflict then gets directed towards me as the practitioner, because I'm the one that knows the Reiki and I'm the one that does this thing. And so then they direct that angst and agitation and frustration at me because I'm the Reiki practitioner. I'm the one that told them about it. So it's my fault that they have an internal conflict. As I am discovering my own path here, I'm realizing that it's not my role to convince you of any spiritual practice. I am here to share some of my journey. I am here to give light to the practices and modalities that have worked for me. My role here is to help you turn inward and find your own answers, find your own truth, find whatever works for you. And I've been on the receiving end of enough backlash to know. Because people are like, oh, I'm just curious. Can you just tell me a little bit about it? Oh, Tracy, I'm not going to get upset with you. You're my friend. Blah, blah, blah. I have heard that before. I've heard it from people that are the closest to me that cannot hold space for it. And I'm fine with that. I am not asking you to hold space for something that I believe in. But what I have been on the receiving end is being attacked for my beliefs, which I find interesting because I don't attack you for your beliefs, and I could. Religious, political, there's a whole list of things that people do that I don't express to them directly. But yet, people feel emboldened to push back on practices that have been around since the beginning of time. Going onto the mountain in silence and receive information from God, that's meditation. And yet, so many people act like it's this crazy thing that conflicts with their core religious training. And that's fine. I'm not here to disprove that. I'm not here to suggest anything. But I have become increasingly aware that I'm not here to prove these things to you. Thank you for listening to this episode of Tracy Talks. Remember to rate, review, and subscribe, and share with others who would enjoy listening to this podcast. Friends can find Tracy Talks available on iTunes, Spotify, Substack, and YouTube. Hit me up on Instagram and Facebook at More Tracy Talks. And until next time, we meet again.